when Mexico joined NAFTA. The country wanted to modernize, but just what would come after? Insurgent rebels took the South, the presidential candidate was killed. Investors pulled their money out and a crisis ensued. And the expats, the Yanks with their backpacks, yeah, it was quite a thrill. Opportunity to make a buck or two. Perhaps it could help out, they thought they could, no doubt. Oh man, wasn't it cool? And I was down there too, fresh out of school. Yeah.
Son considerados leyendas, dioses, superestrellas y gigantes. Nosotros se los mostramos como realmente son. Rocumental.
We are back with MTV Latino's Rocumental. The year is now 1996, and the Mexican funk rock group Signos y Sombras has just won the Battle of the Bands on the season finale of Coca-Cola's Liquid Rock on Azteca TV. This national exposure is a major turn of fortune for a band that just a year prior was stuck in a rut playing gigs at the Café Caribe at the very end of the University Metro line. After their television win, the band heads to Vips to celebrate its victory. For our MTV Latino viewers in Poughkeepsie, New York, Vips is a slightly fancier version of Friendly's, but without the ice cream. After a late night out, you simply can't resist an order of molletes or the Vips Club sandwich. The band is flying high and contemplating their future in the music biz. Besides winning a Yamaha mixer, the show execs made a big promise on national TV.
Con estos 6 grupos, pues bueno, nos sentaremos ya próximamente, yo creo que la semana próxima, y haremos un plan de producción para el disco.
Jorge, the bassist, is excited. He admits to his bandmates that he thinks the group could be his ticket to buying a house. But alas, with the cancellation of the Liquid Rock show, no record is ever produced. Signos y Sombras will have to find their own way forward. The band pulls some equipment together and records a demo tape of their material at Eduardo's apartment. The experience is utter joy and brings the band closer together. They trust each other and, dare I say, have developed true feelings of affection for one another. So with their demo cassette in hand, they are ready to go out looking for a gig. However, Eduardo wants to take the music to the Zapatistas. Okay, we need some historical context here. During colonial times in Mexico, indigenous groups lost control of their land to the Spanish conquerors and the Catholic Church. In 1910, a revolution breaks out across the country, and Emiliano Zapata led a group of rebels who were fighting for the redistribution of lands to peasants. Zapata's vision was finally realized years later, when Lázaro Cárdenas became president in 1934. Cárdenas created ejidos, farmlands placed under communal ownership of indigenous groups. However, President Carlos Salinas privatized these communal farms in 1992 as the country was liberalizing its economy in preparation to join NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement with Canada and the United States. It was in this context that an indigenous revolt broke out in the southern state of Chiapas on January 1, 1994, the day that NAFTA went into effect. The rebels called themselves Zapatistas, in honor of the revolutionary hero from 1910. Eduardo wants to show his support of the Zapatistas, but of course, he also wants to help out the band. He attends weekly meetings at the National University with a group that is organizing events to raise humanitarian support for the Zapatista rebels in Chiapas. They would become known as Doce Serpiente, and the group would attract some of the biggest names in Mexican rock, including Botellita de Jerez, Maldita Vecindad, Café Tacuba, Trolebus, and Santa Sabina, among others. These groups would put on a series of mega concerts to raise funds and food supplies for the Zapatistas. A subcommittee of lesser-known bands is formed within Doce Serpiente. This group will decide if any of the amateurs might participate in one of the larger events. Eduardo signs Signos y Sombras up. The band plays a gig in some sort of an open-air garage somewhere in the south of the city with a ton of other bands. It is a bizarre gig that goes on forever. However, the bands eventually vote among themselves on which group they believe is most ready to move forward and join the large acts. Signos y Sombras is selected. As a result of their election, El Mastuerzo, the drummer of the legendary band Botellita de Jerez, comes to Jorge's roof to watch Signos y Sombras practice. For our international audience, this is sort of like having Sting come to your house to check your band out. El Mastuerzo tells the guys that the only thing they lack is someone to produce them. Though the band does not end up playing any of the Doce Serpiente concerts, they meet a lot of cool groups and burrow deeper into the Mexican rock scene. Before we can continue the story, we need to talk about the Mexican rock band Maná. One of the first Mexican bands to be promoted as part of the Rock in Your Language campaign, Maná is an international sensation. Their 1992 record, Where Will the Children Play?, had become the best-selling Spanish-language rock album of all time. In 1995, the band gets a new guitarist and a funkier, harder-edge sound. They release the album When the Angels Cry. Maná undertakes a 23-country tour to promote the new album. The tour is coming to an end in 1996, and they are returning home to play their final 4 dates at the National Auditorium in Mexico City. Raúl, the singer of Signos y Sombras, hears on the radio that a contest is being held to select a band to open up for Maná. Raúl informs his compatriots, and the guys rush their demo tape down to the radio station studio. The demo is selected as one of the finalists, and the band is summoned to Rocketitlan so their live act can be evaluated. The guys are intoxicated with joy. They have been selected to open up for Maná on the final night of the world tour. It is April 28, 1996, and the National Auditorium in Mexico City is sold out, a capacity crowd of 10,000 people. Prior to the show, Josh buys a wireless transmitter for his guitar. He wants to be able to run back and forth on the stage. In fact, he is the only member of the band that is able to get up to the edge of the stage, past the blinding lights, and confirm that there is in fact an audience of 10,000 people in attendance. Though Signos y Sombras is only supposed to play 4 songs, the guys from Maná hear their funky grooves coming through the monitors in their dressing room. They come down backstage to watch. From the wings, Maná tells the stage manager to let the band stay on to play a couple of more tunes. After the performance, Maná invites Signos y Sombras back to their dressing room to hang out and talk about music. The guys are besides themselves. They are also invited to join Maná and its entourage at the Hard Rock Cafe in the swanky Polanco neighborhood to celebrate the end of their world tour. Now, with both the Liquid Rock appearances on Aztec television and the Maná opening, Signos y Sombras starts getting some positive press coverage. Though the guys are still part of the underground, their exploits over the last year have brought them into contact with a lot of folks in the Mexican rock scene. They hang out with bands like La Lupita, La Now, El Grito, and Trolleybus, and make friends with scores of other aspiring musicians. During their work for Coca-Cola Liquid Rock, they are introduced to rock legend Paco Gruexo and future recording star Julieta Venegas, and shoot a music video with both of them. Drummer Eduardo and guitarist Josh do a musical side project with the Uruguayan rockers Alvaro Fenochi and Fernando Santuyo of the band Peyote Asesino. Josh is an economist by day and living the rock and roll life by night. Are his slacker dreams about to come true? Coming off the high of the Maná concert, the band goes into promotional overdrive. They are invited to perform on Education Radio, a cultural affairs station reaching much of Mexico.
Eduardo, ¿qué haces aquí solo?
Pues ya ves, así son los del grupo.
¿Qué pasó? ¿Y cómo ves la estrategia del grupo? ¿Cuál es el propósito de esto?
Pues que Marcela no los consiguió.
Ah, órale. Chido.
Está toda madre, ¿no?
¿Y cómo ves al lugar?
Pues está. Pues nada más no se puede oler por la cámara, pero...
Desde acá, los chilangos.
After a sound check, it's showtime.
Yo muy bien, fíjate que estoy muy contenta porque el grupo de hoy, el grupo que tenemos invitado aquí desde acá los chilangos, no es cualquier grupo. Este grupo el 28 de abril de 1996 lograron llenar el Auditorio Nacional que se podía oír un alfiler.
Lleno total está.
Total,
O sea, no cabía.
No, todo, ya sabes, la gente estaba sentada, la abuelita y luego la nieta favorita encima y luego junto el novio y el papá peñuscado ahí, todo el mundo lleno.
9,000 personas en el auditorio.
Atascado. Y tuvo el gusto de cerrar esa noche el grupo Maná, fíjate.
Muy bien. Hoy, señoras y señores, está con nosotros Signos y Sombras.
The group plays many of its demo tape hits. The show lasts for about an hour with a mix of interviews and music. The guys are getting a lot of exposure. Mexico's youth will finally be able to hear their music without needing to go to the end of the metro line. The band goes on to be featured at the Mexico City Music Festival, a trade show for the live music industry. They are backstage at the Sports Palace getting ready. Delusions of grandeur abound.
Aquí están. ¿Qué pueden decir?
Estamos en la estrategia del concierto. Si te acercas al plan, vas a ver que va a ser un rock bien pensado. No es un rock así ligero, pero estratégico. Mira, aquí tenemos el escenario. Rudy va a venir corriendo y va a subir por aquí. Jorge va a estar 2 pisos arriba aquí, se va a saltar hacia el escenario. Eduardo también pues, va a venir por acá y yo por aquí. Aquí mismo pues vamos a tener la bomba atómica. Entonces, ya llegando al escenario se va a explotar la bomba y todos mueren así. Chido.
En eso sale el Ruli y nos rescata.
No, ya entró él.
Todos cambiar el plan también.
In looking for the stage, the guys have their own Spinal Tap moment. Going in circles trying to figure out where to go, only to end up back at the dressing rooms. The band puts on multiple performances. They get to try out a variety of stages, and finally have real sound people setting things up. The band has come a long way up until this point, from countless hours practicing on Jorge's roof to a multitude of gigs at the Café Caribe playing for no one. They recorded demo after demo, and joined the city's cultural outreach program, only to end up playing in some of the most remote parts of the city. All along, their aim has been to get noticed and be offered a record contract. To that end, they entered a slew of music contests and took every gig that presented itself. They thought their big break might come after their many appearances on Coca-Cola's Liquid Rock TV show, which culminated with their victory in the season finale's Battle of the Bands. Still, no record contract materialized. Sure, here they are at a music festival with Mexico's top Beatles tribute band opening up for them, but how could it be that just a little while back, Signos y Sombras opened up for Maná, Latin America's most popular rock band, and yet no record execs have come knocking at their door? There must be some way to get a meeting with a record exec. The guys have an epiphany. Surely Maná's record label had representatives at the National Auditorium gig that saw Signos y Sombras. They just need to request a meeting with Warner Music and say that Maná sent them. The plan works. The guys are granted a meeting with Warner Music Mexico. The offices are located in the Anzures neighborhood, off the Reforma Promenade near Chapultepec Park and the swanky Polanco district. They have finally made it into the inner sanctums of the gatekeepers of rock and roll. They are meeting with Tulio Bañara, a national marketing label manager with the firm. He is originally from the country of Chile, reminding the guys that they are walking into the offices of a multinational media conglomerate. Of course, this is the 1990s in Mexico, so the guys do not go directly to Tulio's office, but rather are greeted by a secretary who chit-chats with them and offers them a drink while they wait. Josh is stoked about their good fortune of meeting with Warner Music. Not only do they represent the group Maná, but they are also the record label for Café Tacuba, Josh's favorite band. Café Tacuba is an insanely creative act, blending pop and rock with Mexican folkloric music and regional stylings. The record label must have had a hand in guiding the band's groundbreaking sound. Josh believes that this is just the sort of forward-thinking management that Signos y Sombras deserves. Okay, it's meeting time. The guys from Signos y Sombras want to talk about their future in the Mexican music biz. Tulio wants to talk about the whole Latin American marketplace. Josh has been dreaming about this moment for much of his life. From his first band, Dead Fish, created with his childhood buddy Gabe Gilligan, to the Vagodas, a supergroup formed while at John Jay High School in East Fishkill, New York, to the Boston Sushi Fiesta, his band at Brown University, where he first explored combining multimedia performance art with funk music, and now Signos y Sombras was poised to make his dreams a reality, a life dedicated to music and creativity.
Take a band like Maná. They have major international appeal. Their songs are catchy, and they sing in a Spanish that everyone can understand. Now take Café Tacuba. Sure, we'll sell some records. However, those guys are just too Mexican. They are never going to go anywhere.
Wait, what? Café Tacuba is awesome. Is this guy for real?
Blah, blah, blah. Music business, blah, blah, blah. Latin America, blah, 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 blah. Well, guys, thanks for coming by. It's been a real pleasure.
What the... Huh? Did I miss something? Somewhere in this delightful town, folks celebrate times of yore. A band is playing somewhere, and couples dance across the floor. Somewhere families hang piñatas and little children shout. But there is no joy for our heroes. Signos y Sombras has struck out.
Yeah!